In this video today, we'll be talking about sentence and its different parts. This is Professor Mukhtar Abbasi and you are watching my YouTube channel FEC English. So let's dive into the world of grammar or English grammar. What is a sentence? Let's first of all have a look at the definition. A group of words that expresses complete thought. That is, thought here means complete sense, you can also say, or you can also say complete meaning. Why I am over stressing on thought, sense or meaning? Because sometimes we have also group of words but they do not give the complete sense, so we can't call it a sentence. It can be a phrase or clause sometimes when it is a dependent clause, but not the full sentence. So there are some important things that we need to note which are related to the sentence. The first thing is that the sentence always begins with a capital letter. Never forget, whether your sentence starts with a proper noun or a common noun, you have to write the first letter of your sentence in capital alphabet. This is the rule of the language, English language. Secondly, it depends whether the sentence shows a statement, surprise or question. So accordingly, we will use different punctuation marks. So a sentence ends in a full stop if it is a statement. A sentence may also end in a question mark if it is asking a question, and it may also end in mark of exclamation or exclamation mark if you are showing a surprise, disbelief or something like that. Let us see all this theory into practical. The birds are flying. Here the sentence starts with the definite article the, but I have written the first letter of the in the capital because this is the rule number 1. And I have ended the sentence in full stop because this is a statement. Second sentence is, where are you going? I have started the sentence with interrogative adverb and I have written its first letter capital, and here I have ended the sentence in question mark because this sentence asks a question. The third sentence is, what a beautiful day. This is an exclamatory sentence, and again I have started it with the capital letter, but I have ended this sentence with sign of exclamation or exclamation mark. So these are the different punctuation marks you will find at the end of a complete sentence. Sentence has different parts because when we talk about a sentence, we actually talk about grammar, because the definition of the grammar is putting the words at their right places in the sentence is called grammar. So we will be able to put the words at their right places if we know about all the parts of the sentence. So what are the different parts of sentence? Let's discuss. The first part is subject. What is subject? We will discuss it. Then another part is predicate. Then we have verb, object. Then we have complement, adjunct, phrase and clause. So I have mentioned all the possible parts of the sentence. It is not necessary that you always have all the parts in the sentence, but the most important parts are the main parts of a sentence are first subject and predicate. Subject and predicate are the most important part of sentence. In some sentences you will be missing phrases, complements, or adjuncts, or clauses. But what you don't miss in every sentence is subject and predicate. So, what is the subject and what is predicate? Let's discuss it. Subject is the part of a sentence. That part of the sentence may be a person, place, or thing. And when I say person, place, or thing, I'm also talking about noun or the word used in place of noun, that is pronoun. So the part of the sentence which shows or which does some work, that does some work in the sentence, we call it subject. So the first part of the definition of the subject is that a noun or a pronoun or a person, place, or thing, if it is doing certain work in the sentence, we call it, this is a subject. Another part of this definition is, in some cases, the subject does not do a work, but simply we give information about the subject. So in order to understand the complete definition or to understand the proper definition of the subject, we have to keep two things in our mind. One, the subject is the part of the sentence that does some work, or in other cases, some information is given about that part. So, what is predicate? Predicate actually is the second name of verb. In etymology, we call it verb. That is actually in parts of speech, we call it verb. But when the verb is used in a sentence, it actually tells us something about the subject. So in the syntax, we call it predicate. So predicate is the second name of the verb. As in parts of speech we say noun, but when the same noun is used in a sentence, as the doer of the work, we call it subject. Or some information is given about the noun, we call it subject. Subject is the name we give to a noun or pronoun according to the rules of syntax. In the same way, in parts of speech, actually it is a verb. But when the verb is used in a sentence and it gives information about the subject, we call it predicate. So what is a predicate? It explains what the subject does or what the subject is. And does and is are the parts of this definition which are actually verbs. Because the verb shows the activity and verb also shows the state of affairs. So predicate is that part which gives information about the subject. So in order to separate or understand which is subject and which is predicate in a sentence, so first of all you find out the subject and rest of the words we will call is a predicate. And predicate has different parts. Actually, the verb, object, complement, adjunct, or a phrase, these are actually the part of predicate. Clause is a different thing. When we talk about a clause, actually the thing that comes in our mind is a compound and complex sentences that we will be discussing also. So, what is a subject and what is a predicate? Let us understand it through some examples I have written on the board. The dog, you see, the dog is a noun, but in sentence it is a subject because it is doing the work of snarling. So the dog snarled at the beggar. So dog is the subject and rest of the sentence we will call it predicate. Subject, the dog snarled at the beggar is predicate. And predicate is further divided into all these kinds that we will be discussing in our upcoming lectures. Second example is Asia or Asia, some people pronounce it, is the subject. Here Asia is not doing any work, but through the predicate we have given certain information about Asia. So Asia is most populated continent in the world. So apart from Asia, the rest of the sentence we will call it predicate, because this rest of the sentence gives information about Asia. So Asia is a subject, is most populated continent in the world is the predicate, and here the predicate is not showing that the subject is doing some work, but in this case what the subject is. What the subject is? Subject is most populated. Third sentence is the car. Sometimes some people are mistaken that only human beings or living beings do some work, but in some cases the verb also indicates the action or the activity of a non-living thing. That's why I have deliberately chosen this sentence. Like the car, again the car in parts of speech is a noun, but in the sentence it is subject and it is sputtered and stopped. So here we are showing the activity of car, that it sputtered. Sputtered is the action that engine or the sound that engine produces when it is about to die. So the car sputtered and stopped. Here sputtered and stopped is the predicate. In this predicate we have two verbs. Yes, two verbs may also be used or may also function as single predicate in the sentence. So the car, which is a noun, again the letter is capital. Here we have written the capital letter, but we have again to use capital because this is proper noun, and again the is also T is capital as according to, and all these sentences are statements, that's why they are ending in full stop. So sputtered and stopped is a predicate, the car is subject. Here car, we are showing the activity or giving information about the car. So in brief, the two major parts of a sentence are subject and predicate. Subject is the doer of work or some information given about it, and predicate is the part of the sentence that gives information about the subject. And predicate has different parts. So what is their function? What is the difference between them? We will be talking about them in our upcoming lectures. If you really liked this little video on sentence, please do like and subscribe my channel. Until my next lecture, bye bye.